Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Rain. Not sure how my voice sounds right now, but hope it's okay. Have to do an extra loud um projection for this one. But let's see. There are points that it gets crispy, but there are points that it won't. I'm not sure how to fix that. Okay. That one is running. This one should be running as well. Yep, it is. Okay. There we go. Oh, is this better? There are times that it would sound like this, and there are times that it would sound like this. So, not sure yet if that gets fixed. But yeah, wait. I think I can see the problem again. Okay, is this better? Or I hope it's not doubling, or I hope hindi siya nag-echo. So like this. Okay. Okay. So we'll keep it at like this. Hey gamer. Hello, hello. Tonight we're kind of doing a different thing. Just trying to fix everything. And if everything is running properly, let's check that. Okay. Hopefully that is running well. Hmm. It's more of in tarot it offers you a sense of clarity. Um an answered question, or even sometimes it drives you to that question that you didn't even know that you needed to ask. Oh, okay. So gather around. The fire is still burning. tonight, the sky itself has been steering. The blood moon has passed, and Mercury retrograde begins to move the water. Moments like this tends to bring things back to surface. Old conversation, old emotion, old decisions that were never fully settled. See, the blood moon illuminates what we usually keep hidden, and Mercury retrograde asks us to slow down, to review, revisit, and sometimes repair what was left unfinished. So for tonight's Tarot Thursday, um, isn't about predicting the future. It's about clarity. Six calls into the ether, six moments to sit with the cards, the questions, and the quiet truths that they might reveal, of course. And if one of those moments resonates too little, too deeply to you, then maybe you were meant to hear it here. You faces by the fire. Welcome. Let's begin. Mm, okay. A lot of energy has been flowing about this past few days, especially when the blood moon hit. It's really it really gets to you how how life sometimes move without you knowing it to move. But yeah, let's call on to the first ether. Are you Alex? Alex is right. Now, this first spread is for the ones seeing the truth after avoiding. See, some people tried to keep their peace. Others believe the softer version of some stories. But with recent events, the blood moon has its way on showing what the shadow tried to soften. Now, truth isn't always comfortable, but it is always clarifying. If something has recently become impossible to ignore for you, well, this may be for you. For the first spread, there we go, is all the cards in order. No, okay. Is it the first card? Nope, that's correct. Second card. Yes, okay. What the last one? Is it correct? Correct. Hmm. First card. Okay. You said it was the last one that wasn't correct. Okay. No, it's all correct. Thank you, Alex. For the cards. Oop. The first card, Queen of Cups. Upright. The second, Judgment. And the last, Oh, like a authoritative figure over here. Okay. And it's all upright. So let me go ahead and at least decipher this out for us. It's a very emotional and powerful clarity spread for this one. See, as I've told you, people, or mainly who really needs to hear this, you might have kept the peace. You have believed the softer version of the story, but with recent events, it has illuminated what this really looks like. And honestly, it shows you this way. This card right here, the Queen of Cups, it's more of an emotional awareness that begins to surface. It's that feeling that you get, or that sensation that you get whenever you just have woken up. You may have felt the truth long before you were ready to acknowledge it. The Queen of Cups is intuitive. She senses all emotional undercurrents, subtle tensions, spoken realities, but sometimes she stays quiet about it, especially if speaking up disturbs the harmony. Now, this card right here suggests you already knew something wasn't aligned. You just hope it might resolve itself. As for judgment, this is the moment of that awakening. Something has called your attention back to a situation you thought already have settled in your mind. Judgment asks for honesty, not just about others, but about yourself. This is the moment where avoidance stops working and the realization may come through a conversation, an event, or a simple sudden moment of clarity. But once the judgment appears, it has become very difficult to pretend you don't see through it anymore. Oh, I did not notice that. My bad. Give me a second. I was hiding. Um, ta-da. Do I appear? I appear. A bit too big this time. Okay, give me a second. Let me fix that. There. Hmm. Okay. Um. Oh dear. Okay, the spread has disappeared. There we go. There we go. A bit better. Thank you for the reminder that I should sit properly. Needed that. Okay. So, this spread, if wasn't a bit clear, this is for those who have felt the need to keep the peace by ignoring something, getting the version of a story that works. There we go. So once again, this one is for the ones who have been trying to avoid a reality, or at least a story that they needed to face. And because of what recent event has shown, the truth often comes up at the most unsettling way. As I've said, Queen of Cups is showing that emotional awareness that is beginning to bubble up. Sometimes at some point, um, the water itself just begins to break. And just before that moment, that is what the Queen of Cups shows. It's intuitive. It sends that emotional undercurrent, subtle tension, that unspoken realities or unspoken truth that people are always there to the people always there to know but never admit, because of the fact that it that certain truth might disturb what already is pre-established. Now this card of course suggests that you already know even before that something is already unaligned, but deep down you hope that it might just resolve itself just like any other things. But judgment right here is that moment where it becomes too loud, it becomes too big, and it already calls your attention. This judgment asks for honesty, not just about others but to yourself. Like how far are you willing to just turn a blind eye into that situation? This is the moment where avoidance stopped working. The realization may come through just a conversation, an event, someone just simply saying, "Why though?" And then the judgment appears and it becomes, "Thank you for that water." Becomes a tad bit difficult to pretend that you don't see the truth anymore. The King of Cups, however, this now represents that emotional mastery. This is when you start to notice things but still try to keep the peace. This is when things are getting too hard to unnotice or ignore, and this is where it's right there. You have to move. Where the queen senses and feels, the king now integrates a mature response. The message here is not to react impulsively, but to know what you realize. What I mean to say is that instead of this card suggesting a aggressive approach to things, no, this card suggests responding with an emotional balance. You don't need to explode the situation, accuse, or escalate. Thank you for the water. Now, you simply need to acknowledge the truth and move forward with composure. The message of this spread right here is the blood moon often reveal something that's already been present beneath the surface. Now, you weren't wrong to maintain the peace, but peace built on avoidance eventually crumbles. Now that clarity has arrived, the invitation is not chaos, it's maturity to feel the truth, to accept it, then respond from a place of emotional stability. Now, if something you tried to soften or ignore has recently become impossible to overlook, if clarity arrived suddenly, if even if it made things a tad bit uncomfortable, then yes, this spread is for you. Thank you, Alex. Now, for the next spread. Mm, Oh, 1 second. I would appreciate if. Hmm, okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I thought my program just crashed on me, and I was about to crash out myself. Okay, now, this next one. This next one is for those reopening a conversation left unfinished. Now, Mercury retrograde has a very strange habit of reopening doors you thought were already closed. Now, old conversation resurface. Messages often arrive late. Or the words you wish you had said finally come to mind. You know that conversation you had or argument that you had with someone that were once close to you? You wish that you had that answer or rebuttal to them. Now, if someone from the past or past conversation had surfaced recently, this poll might be for you. Thank you. Oh, would you look at that? Are they all correct in order? Oh, okay. I would not argue with you, Alex. Now let's see what these cards show to us. First card, the Wheel of Fortune, inverse or reverse. Second card, the Ten of Swords, reverse. And then the last, why is everybody so disappointed in this one? Eight of Cups, reverse. It's actually the first full reverse spread of the night. Now let's try to interpret these words for us, shall we? As I've said, this spread is for the ones that had that strange habit of reopening old conversations. Words that wish was said now feel needs to be said. If those emotions come bubbling up recently, this spread might be for you. Let's understand it together. The Wheel of Fortune reverse. This is something that didn't complete its cycle the first time. The wheel reverse suggests a moment in the past where timing, understanding, or communications simply didn't line up. Not everything ended because meant to end. Sometimes things pause because clarity wasn't ready yet. Now, the Mercury retrograde often activates this moment. Now, it brings the past forward, not necessarily to restart it, but to understand that moment correctly this time around. This funny card right here, and I say that with quote and quotations. This card in reverse speaks of a recovery after a painful ending, as you could see of a man being stabbed by 10 swords. See, the worst part already has happened, but the healing process may have left unanswered questions. Now, reverse 10 of swords suggests that something once perceived as complete ending may not have been as final as it seemed. Or perhaps the pain has softened enough that the conversation can now happen without reopening old wounds. Now, this isn't about relieving the, the hurt. This is about understanding it differently now. Like a funny joke that was introduced to me by my partner. Maybe you just need a new perspective. Return back to sorry, sorry. I'm getting attacked by my deck right now. But this right here, the Eight of Cups reverse. It's walking away on a moment. It's emotionally harder than people to admit. The act itself of walking away feels like surrender. That is very hard to do. Now, the Eight of Cups reverse suggests that someone never fully left, at least not emotionally. There may still be unfinished feelings, unresolved curiosity, or words that were never spoken. That's very true. But sometimes closure doesn't come from the silence. Sometimes it comes from the one honest conversation that you can have. The message is this: Mercury retrograde isn't always about the chaos. Sometimes it's about correction. A conversation that once felt impossible may now be possible because both people have changed. But the purpose of reopening the door isn't always reconciliation. Sometimes it's just simply clarity. If someone from your past has resurfaced, if an old conversation is echoing back into your life, if you find yourself thinking about something you thought was finished, then yes, this may be for you. Thank you, Alex. For real, Rain. Yeah. Alex literally said, in the shorter terms of it, you could heal, but you don't wanna because you're stubborn. So, let's see what's next. As for the next one, hmm, this next spread is for the ones who's having that realization that you've outgrown that situation. Growth doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it appears as quiet discomfort where comfort used to live. See, the blood moon can reveal how much you've changed, and the Mercury retrograde asks you to review where you no longer belong. If a situation feels smaller than it once did, then this may be for you. Let's see. What are the cards are you gonna show me, Alex? Are they all in the proper position? Yeah. Yes, they are. Thank you, Alex. Now, let's see what is being spoken to us. For the first card, Seven of Wands. Second card, Ace of Coins. Reverse. Or Ace of Pentacles. Reverse. The next and the last, I mean, is the Page of Cups. Upright. Now, with this three, let's weave a coherent narrative to what is being said to us. See, once again, this spread is for the ones who felt like growth doesn't feel that need to announce itself to you. To whomever this read might fit, you might already feeling the sensation that you're not where you feel like you belong. And the seven of wand right here, you feel like you're constantly defending your position, defending your boundaries, your time, your energy. The seven of wand often appears when you're holding your ground in a situation that demands more effort than it used to. See, not necessarily a conflict. It's not. Sometimes it's just your exhaustion from that constant need to assert yourself. That can be a signal that something around you no longer fits the person that you yourself is already becoming. And this card right here suggests that the path that you once saw promising now feels misaligned. The Ace of Pentacle reverse is that moment, that job, a commitment, a relationship dynamic, or even, honestly, a lifestyle choice. It asks the quiet question that is this opportunity is still an opportunity, or it has become something that you stay in simply because you started it. Sometimes outgrowing something doesn't mean it was wrong. It just means that it served its season. In the Page of Cups, it introduces emotional honesty. Now, this card right here is that listening to that inner voice once again, that intuition. When we stay too long in a situation we've outgrown already, we often silence that voice. I should change my perspective. Possible. Sorry. Go back to that one. Now, the page gently reopens that moment. It reminds us that growth is not only practical, it's emotional. Now, you're allowed to acknowledge when something no longer resonates with you and who you are becoming. The message of this three is outgrowing something doesn't mean you have failed, it means you have evolved. Discomfort is more of a sign, a feeling that it doesn't necessarily conflicts with others. It simply is that sensation of standing in a space that you once felt that fit and no longer does. If you've noticed a situation feeling smaller than it used to be, if maintaining it requires more effort than it once did, and if your inner voice has been asking quiet questions about where you belong, then yes, this pull might be for you. Thank you. So let's pause here for a moment. Let's have Alex recover some of that energy. And for tonight, if this reading resonates with you, consider sharing the stream or following the channel. It helps the space to reach more people who might need it. Now, as I've always said, I do offer private readings if you're navigating through something personal. So feel free to reach out. We'll continue with the remaining three ether calls in a moment. And apologies for the last 2 weeks. I think I haven't updated the tarot table with what is essentially going on. I think the last one that I did was before, oh dear lord, yeah, it was before 2 weeks ago, Valentine's Day. My bad. I'll try to update that as soon as possible. But for now, yeah, let's go on a short break and we will be right back. Hello, and I'm back. Do I still have everybody here? Hello? Everybody still in the chat? Can I get a hot dogs in the chat? If everybody or anybody still. Check. One, two. One, two. Am I heard? Okay. So yeah. Um okay, that's at least there we go. I came in a bit late, but thank you. Please. And I'm not alone. Now, for the next three more ether calls. This next one. This next one is for the ones learning that silence is also communication. See, not every message arrived as a word. Sometimes the absence of effort says everything. Sometimes delay, distant, and quiet speaks louder than explanation. See, Mercury retrograde teaches us patience, but also it teaches us observation. If someone's silence has been answering questions you once asked aloud, this may be for you. Go ahead, Alex. Show us. Oh, okay. Is everything in the right order? Okay. The first card is the Magician. Reverse. Second card, the Ten of Pentacles. Reverse. And the last, wow. The second full reverse pull of the night is Ten of Swords. Reverse. Now, with all being shown at us, it is quite heavy, but let's dive right into it. See, the Magician right here shows that it represents communication, intentions, and actions. In reverse, on the other hand, it suggests a breakdown between words and reality. Someone may talk about possibilities, plans, or promises, but the action never really follows through. In some cases, this card also indicates avoidance, saying less, doing less, or leaving things vague to avoid accountability. The key message here is to watch behavior, not just language. Because the magician reverse often shows when power of communication isn't being used honestly or clearly. Now, this card right here, the Ten of Pentacles, speaks of a long term stability and commitment. Reversed, it can show that something once imagined as lasting or secured may not actually be developing that way. It may feel like the foundation itself never fully formed, or a situation where someone is unwilling or unable to build something lasting. The silence you're experiencing may be revealing a truth about the future of the situation. See, not every connection is meant to become permanent. And this is what is shown at the last. The Ten of Swords reverse is a beginning of a recovery. As I've said earlier with this appearing, the worst part of a painful realization is often the moment you finally understand something. And once clarity arrives, that's the only time the healing begins. Reverse, this card suggests you are already starting to release the pain attached to this situation. And it may not fully feel resolved yet, but you're beginning to accept what silence has been telling. The message is quite loud and profound. Mercury retrograde doesn't only bring back old conversation. Sometimes it highlights the conversation that never happened. Silence can be uncomfortable, but it can also be honest. When someone stops showing up, stops communicating, or stops putting the effort into something, that absence becomes its own answer. If someone's silence has been louder than any explanation you've heard, if you've been noticing the difference between what was promised to you and what is actually happening, then yes, this read might be for you. Take your Alex. Yeah, no, Alex is saying quite bold statements right now. They're not using their full potential. Just leave this connection in the dust. Check, please. This date is not going where it needs to go. And I need to save myself from it, which is understandable. Now, this next one. This is for the ones that is releasing emotional weight. The blood moon often asks for a release. Old resentments, old griefs, old expectations. Holding on to something long enough doesn't make it yours forever. Sometimes closure isn't an event, it's a decision. If something feels inside you is ready to finally let it go, then this may be for you. All the cards in proper order, Alex. They are. Thank you, Alex. The 10 repeating, that repeating 10 of swords reverse. Yeah, it really does, and it kind of shakes the foundation of what is going on into most of the people that really needs to hear this. Now, the cards are Five of Wands, the second, Eight of Cups reverse, and the last, check, check one, two. I, where did I get lost? Apologies on that one. Um, check one, two, check one, two. Ah, okay. So the mic or the other lapel made the other lapel gave out. That is fascinating. How long is my stream going? That's interesting. Let me check on something. That's interesting that it gave out at that point, but that's okay. At least I have the other one charged up. Okay, so um, for this one, see, Five of Wands represents attention, an emotional friction. It's an argument or an inner conflict, competitive perspectives to one another. But often, Five of Wands is less about an external conflict and more of an internal struggle. Replaying a situation, revisiting an argument in your mind, and trying to understand who was right from who was wrong. This card right here suggests that the emotional weight you've been carrying may have come from staying mentally engaged in a conflict long after the moment has passed. Now, the Eight of Cups reverse is showing a very difficult notion of walking away. Part of you may already know that something needs to be released, but emotional attachment, history, or unanswered questions make it difficult to leave that situation behind completely. Now, reverse this card says that delay isn't because you're weak, it's because of that emotional investment is far too potent and real for you. That you've stayed longer because you yourself, you, you cared for this. Whilst the Knight of Sword introduced that decisive clarity. This is the moment where you stop circling the situation emotionally and finally move forward. Not necessarily through confrontation, but through a decision. Sometimes release comes from saying, I've thought about it this long enough. Like, I understand what has happened and I'm ready to move on. And the Knight of Swords represent that mental shift where clarity replaces rumination. See, the emotional weight you've been carrying may come from continuing a battle that no longer needs to be fought. Closure doesn't always arrive through explanation, apology, or resolution. Sometimes it arrives when you decided that the conflict has taken enough of your energy and you finally choose peace instead. Now, if you're holding onto resentment or grief that feels heavy but familiar, if you've been revisiting that same emotional struggle again and again and again, then yes, this may be for you. Thank you, Alex. Now, for the next one. Thank you for the reminder that I needed to drink water. Thank you. That's a hot for this last poll might be the last one. Okay, this next one or this last one. This is for the ones who's choosing clarity over comfort. See, Mercury retrograde can make everything feel tangled, misunderstanding, delays, doubts. But hidden inside confusion is an opportunity. an opportunity to slow down and see things more honest. Clarity isn't always immediate, but it always arrives for those willing. Now, if you're navigating uncertainty but sensing truth underneath it, then this may be for you. So, thank you for that. Now, for the first card, the chart reverse. Second, ooh, three of one reverse. Lastly, the sun. Wow, okay. So everything is reversed too. This is the last hole of the night that it decided itself to be an onwards. Let's try to understand this, shall we? See, the chariot right here represents momentum, determination, and the forward movement. In reverse, it suggests that something you expected to move forward has stalled. Plans may feel stuck. Progress may feel slower than expected. But sometimes, the chariot reverse isn't about failure, it's about a necessary pause. A moment where pushing harder won't create clarity, only reflection will. And the Tree of Wands. The Tree of Wands normally represents looking ahead with confidence. Reverse, the horizon feels unclear. You may have expected something to grow or expand by now, but the future you have imagined isn't unfolding the way you thought it would. This can feel frustrating, but it can also create a space to reassess the direction. Sometimes the plan just needs a little bit of tweaking before the journey can continue. Ouch, that hurt, Alex. That really, really hurts. I just have to take over there. But thank you, Alex, for the message. Now, the sun in reverse. The sun in reverse. The sun is the clarity, the warmth, the illumination. In reverse, that light is gone. It's simply dim for a moment. You may feel uncertainty or an emotional heaviness right now, but the sun reversed still promises that clarity exists. It just hasn't fully broken through the clouds yet. When it does, the truth may be simpler than confusion currently suggests. Now, the Mercury retrograde slows things down for a reason. Not to block you, no, but to help you see what momentum may have hidden. What feels like delay may actually be a space. Check. 1, 2. Sorry about that. Can someone pick me what was the last thing that I said? Because I got really called out by this current spread. Hello. I'm just gonna assume that I got lost in translation somewhere about the Three of Wands. Oh, okay. So the sun in reverse. So the sun in it of itself is clarity. In reverse, it has dim for a moment. You may feel uncertainty or emotional heaviness right now, but the sun reverse still promise that clarity that exists. It hasn't fully broken through the clouds yet. Though when it does, the truth may be simpler than the confusion currently suggests. The full message here is that Mercury retrograde slow things down for a reason. Not to block you, but to help you see what momentum may have hidden. What feels like delay may actually be space. Space to notice that something you have missed if everything moved too quickly. Now, if you feel like progress has stalled, if the future you expected suddenly feels unclear, and if confusion is forcing you to look more carefully at the situation, then yes, this may be for you. Sometimes clarity arrives not through the speed, but through stillness. Thank you, Alex, for that wonderful last arrow to the heart. For now, since I'm having a bit of trouble with regards to my setup, I would say Mercury retrograde, but hmm, currently, let's see what's going on. The lights are still working. Hmm. So, for now, ooh, 1 second. 1 second. Come on. 1 second, guys. The energy feels funny tonight, to be honest, and I apologize onto that one. But it feels like the energy is funky tonight. Give me a second. It's not able to catch up. Well, again, it seems that the Mercury retrograde is having a little fun with the setup tonight. So we're going to close the circle here. Those were tonight's 6 calls into the ether under the lingering light of the blood moon. If something spoke to you tonight, hold on to it. If not, simply let it pass. Not every message is meant for every moment. Thank you for spending this time by the fire with me. And remember, after the flames of assumptions burns away, what should remain would be clarity. And whatever world you return into tonight, stay kind. I'll keep the flame lit.